Howdy folks, Eric here, back with another standard brew. Today playing Jeskai Lifegain. It's mostly Boros Lifegain, a mid-range Lifegain shell, featuring card advantage engines like Halia, Bree of Clan Stoutarm, and Exemplar of Light, with the idea being that we're not really doing like the cute Ajani's Pridemate stuff outside of 4 Essence Channeler. Our overall card quality is pretty high, I think. Hinterland Sanctifier, obviously not the best card in the world, but enables everything else going on here. For anyone that's played with the Lifegain shell, you know that Exemplar of Light is like the best card in that deck, right? And we're maximizing that idea by stapling on an extra couple in the form of Bree of Clan Stoutarm, which effectively does the same thing of entering and redrawing if you have like a case of the Uneaten Feast or Hinterland Sanctifier on the field. We're also on a playset of Twin Maw Stormbrood. Not only is this like flexible removal against, a lot of decks right now, honestly, mono green landfall. This is pretty effective against that strategy, killing Ice-Still Explorers and Badgermole Cubs. But also I see this as a way of late game immediately being able to gain 5 life to solve your case of the Uneaten Feasts to keep all of this sort of creature mid-rangey value going. So it's full of a lot of card advantage engines, full of a lot of removal, flexibility, life gain. We're going to kind of smash like the fair decks in a way, I think. The fair decks being like any deck that doesn't have this big game-ending game plan like the mono-green landfall lists or the Doomsday Demons, right? But I think we'll be pretty decent into elementals. I think we're going to smash aggro. We're going to be decent into like the Azorius Tempo lists. But for everything else that's doing kind of unfair stuff, and the reason that it's Jeskai kind of up front is that we are on a playset of Space-Time Anomalies in the sideboard. Target 4 mana, target player mills cards equal to your life total. Just sort of this unfair, like, okay, you're not going to interact with me. You're not going to play the same game plan, like this life total based game plan that I'm playing. Well, I'm going to gain a lot of life, and then maybe I just mill you with 1 card, right? And I just kill you that way. Because if you think about it, the mono green landfall list, not only are they not really interacting with your board, so you're going to accumulate a lot of synergy pieces and gain a lot of life pretty quickly, but they're also kind of susceptible to being milled out because they do a lot of self-mill already. So assuming like it's kind of easy to imagine a scenario where they have an Ice-Still Explorer on the field, you've ground them out through some amount of the game. They have like 40 cards in their library. You happen to have 40 life, and then you just kind of kill them with 1 card. I think that sounds pretty good to me. Other than that, pretty straightforward mid-range list. 24 lands, including 4 adventures in to trigger our stuff. We're on 4 Multiversal Passage and 3 Flood Farm Verge. The splash is pretty easy for us because Flood Farm Verge is a Verge that taps for white and adds blue if you have a Plains or Island. Same with the Sun Billow Verge. So we're mostly a white deck with a light splash into red for Bree and Lightning Helixes, as well as the Char on the Twin Maw Stormbrood. Pretty straightforward sideboard as well. Couple Pyroclasms, High Noon, Seam Rips for early aggression, and a couple Ajani Outland Chaperone for grindy matchups. Now, we're not on the Rest in Peace here because we have those Case of Uneaten Feasts, which I see as a long-term, like, sort of kind of I win, grind you out sort of button for this strategy. So we are instead opting for Soul Guide Lanterns. Let's hop into some ranked matches here, show it off a bit. I think it's kind of a sweet list, honestly. So hopefully I can show that off a bit. Let's play 5 matches here. Let's roll. Starting off on the play. This hand's close. Triple Exemplar of Light. It's kind of rough in the opener, but I could survive for a little while probably to get there. No interaction. No red. Let's just mulligan this. It's probably not the best starting hand. I think we have to mulligan this as well, unfortunately. Okay, this is pretty good. We can go Case of Uneaten Feast, Essence Channeler. I guess we just get rid of our interaction here. Lead on the Case. Probably could have led on the Plains here instead, but this should be fine. We're going to need a little luck drawing one of our card advantage engines. Fortunately, we have quite a few. Mountain. Well, that bodes well for us. Mountain, pass. Essence Channeler, pass. We have 4 lands, which is pretty key. Just need to draw one of our engines now. The reason I like this list, so I played that Lifegain like mill list the other day on video, and it was okay, but I guess we just I'm assuming this is like the Gruul landfall list, trying to do like Mightform Harmonizer, full bore stuff. Just play the Halia here. I can't really do this in such a way where I get a card at the end of turn, but at the very least I get to buff up this Essence Channeler and start swinging in. And it kind of puts me out of combo range for them having the combo this turn. I think they can do a maximum of 22 with the Mightform Harmonizer, fetch, full bore that turn. So I like this compared to that other list because it's a lot less cute. In our main deck, we're just doing fair life gain stuff, mid-range stuff, good removal, good creatures, good card advantage, right? But we get this option of, instead of like trying to play on that angle, we get to shift our angle a little bit, and maybe have a chance at the more unfair lists, a shot at winning against the more unfair lists in the format. I like Twin Maw Stormbrood as a draw if I had 6 mana, maybe. Otherwise, it's just okay here. I think I'm going to kill off the mountain and just start swinging in. If I do decide to swing with Halia here, I guess they probably kill me no matter what. Like, if they have the Harmonizer fetch full bore, right? So I might as well swing, just open up the chance of killing them next turn. But I'm pretty sure I'm dead to full bore, Harmonizer fetch, even if I leave back some amount of blockers. There's a Surak. Okay. Shared Roots. Earthbender Ascension online, but they're pretty well tapped out here. So we could just draw like a... That's not quite what we want. I could shock myself and fly over with the Channeler. It probably makes sense to just offer the block here. No. I kind of feel like if they had the combo, they would have gone for it, right? I'm going to shock myself. We'll go for red. Swing in with a Flying Vigilant Essence Channeler here. Put them to 2. Now they're dead to, like, another shock. Flying in with the Essence Channeler or Lightning Helix. Yeah, pretty happy with that, I think. Kind of seems like, once again, if they had the combo, they would have just gone for it by now, so... Kind of feels like we could win through this. Tunic, Steadfast second. Interesting. Opens up the opportunity to... I guess it just gives their Mightform Harmonizers haste? It seems like a weird include in this list. Another Shared Roots. I'm sure they don't prefer that. I bet their last card is a land. See if we hit our kill here. Yep, and we do. Great. This is why I'm including the Essence Channelers over the Ajanis. Probably exactly this reason. Just being able to access flying on your big dumb beater, I think, is really important right now. To actually be able to swing through the boards created by the mono green landfall list, outside of them having like green shell or sapling nurturing, but just to be able to like continue to push through the early damage that they can't just chump with their like earthbent lands, you know. Against this list, I think we just want... I mean, High Noon shuts down their full bore combo. Maybe the first High Noon's pretty good. We only have the one anyway. I don't think it's worth bringing in the anomaly stuff. I think, like, we're a little reliant on our get losts. There's maybe an argument that we should be on a full 4 across the deck, but just wanted to try it like this. We're on a pretty good chunk of removal anyway with the Twin Maw Stormbroods, but it's mostly sorcery speed. Probably go down a land. Maybe just cut a Flood Farm Verge here. Try it like that. All right, we managed to win on a Mold of 5. Let's see if we can keep this. I think this is good. Good enough at the very least. Good enough to keep. 2 lands. Good chunk of removal. And we have a Get Lost in hand, which is pretty huge here. Plains. Yeah, I guess I just go for Voice of Victory, and then next turn I can just, like, You know, I should have shocked probably here to conceal the fact that I was going to plan to hold up a get lost next turn, but it is what it is. Small optimization, vibrance, killing off Voice of Victory. A little annoying, but not the end of the world. Adventurers in. Yeah, I'm going to hold on to that. I'm just going to play this Hinterland Sanctifier here. It's good to hold on to the Adventurers in until, like, I mean, obviously I'll play it next turn if I have to, but it's one of our better enablers for Halia or Bree of Clan Stoutarm. I'm not going to get lost this. I am instead going to take the opportunity to just char it. Charring Bite. While I can. Continue to hold up instant speed interaction. Swing it for 1. Pass it back to you. I mean, obviously it's very what's the word I'm looking for? Telegraphed at this point. That's okay. Hold on to the Lightning Helixes as well. Yeah, go for a voice. I guess I play the Adventurers in. And I don't swing in because they have this Restless Ridgeline. Kind of surprised they didn't just jam. Yeah, I might as well play the Adventurers in. Pass it back to you. Like, if I hit another land drop, it lets me hold everything up. Which is kind of nice. Back to me. Case of the Uneaten Feast. Well, I guess I just pass here. I could play the case, but I think I like holding up activating the Air Temple to be able to swing in through the Restless Ridgeline with my Voice of Victory next turn. And I still want to hold up instant speed interaction, though. So let's just pass here. We're not in a huge rush. No reason to give anything up. They can't do anything this turn anyway, so pass it back to you. Pretty good start here for us, though. I think we have a good shot at winning this, especially with not only do we have the Get Lost, but we also have double Lightning Helix in hand to be able to manage a Lightform Harmonizer. Threefold Thunderhulk. Is this like a sneak attack or Meak attack deck? What am I playing against? Okay. Okay, well, I guess I just put counters on my guys and then plan to Lightning Helix this next turn. Sacred Foundry. So let's go Sacred Foundry. Case of the Uneaten Feast. Lightning Helix the Thunderhulk. And then we'll be able to gain enough life here to turn on to solve the case when we swing in with the Voice of Victory. Go up to 24. And there's so much more. Solve the case. Pass it back to you. I would guess this is a Meak attack list at this point. I can't imagine another. I mean, it makes sense, right? Gruul for the Devouring Worm, the one from Aether Drift, right? I think that's what people are kind of speculating is an option for that card, but and Tanuk is an interesting backup. Meak attack, I suppose. Interesting idea. It's certainly no sneak attack, but Earthbend the Restless Ridgeline. I suppose this is all okay. Swinging in. I mean, I just get to block and kill the Restless Ridgeline. This is not really that good of an attack here. They're kind of running out of options. I guess I Lightning Helix the Surak. Might as well, just to be able to attack in with the Voice of Victory next turn and continue to hold up the Abandoned Air Temple. Gives them a redraw. A little 2-for-1, but keeps our aggression up. No creatures, just a Voice of Victory in the graveyard to return. Well, if I shock myself here, I can hold up this Get Lost and activate this Abandoned Air Temple, so that's all pretty good. Go ahead and swing in. Gain 1,000,000 life, as we are designed to do. Voice of Victory, one of the best life gain cards, I think. Not only is it individually pretty high power level, but, you know, all of our life gain enablers involve creatures entering the battlefield, and this just consistently puts creatures on the field. All right, 1-0. Pretty good start. We never did anything, like, particularly busted looking with our card advantage stuff going on, but our opponent kind of just stumbled around for most of the match, and we managed to play a kind of aggressive, interactive game plan that took them out pretty quickly. Moving to match 2 here. Match 2, on the play. Pretty good opener. Decent enough, at the very least. Lead on a starting town. Kind of conceal what we're up to at the very least a little bit. I like splashing into red for these life gain lists. I like the way that Lightning Helix plays with Halia quite a lot. Adventures in is a pretty huge draw for us, being able to not only play the Halia next turn, like cast it, but also gain enough life to draw a card and gives another trigger to the Essence Channeler here. I could also just, like, warp in the Halia, play the Adventures in, and then Charring Bite this Bramble Familiar, keep them from being able to Earthbend it. Seems pretty worthwhile. Slowing down their game plan is pretty important, I think, and having the Halia on the field isn't necessarily super, super important for us long term. Warp a Halia. Charring Bite the Bramble Familiar. Swing for 4. We're off to the races. We have a lot of good interaction for this list, so not too upset to run into it here. Probably just plan to get lost something next turn, that way we can... Okay, well, there's a Seam Rip. Not the end of the world. Are they going to miss a land drop here? Huge for us. That's kind of huge for us. Let's go for the Voice of Victory this turn. Hold up removal. Not that that's super important, but also it, like, keeps their Angs from being good in the future. Like, even if they do hit a land drop here. Bramble Familiar. Okay, well, we just get to play Halia and Lightning Helix the Bramble Familiar. No complaints from me here. I could just, like, Get Lost the Bramble Familiar, but I think I want to hold Get Lost for maybe an Appa in the future. The argument for that would being, like, Get Lost goes face next turn and guarantees another card draw next turn, right, off the Halia. It probably was better to Get Lost there just to be able to go face next turn, so they would be at 8 theoretically. Not dead, but as far as, like, closing out the game goes, probably a little better. Bring in the High Noons, or the High Noon. I'm on just one. I don't know. It's probably fine to run more than one, but we are kind of a deck that wants to eventually start playing multiple spells in a turn to look good. Is this a Space-Time Anomaly matchup? Kind of interesting to think about. I think probably not. Maybe you could justify the first one because it might shut down their combo ability eventually if you just, like, mill half their deck and there's a chance they just, like, mill, like, all of their Doc Orlocks, let's say, you know? And also, like, part of being able to, like, win the game on the spot with their combo involves just, like, playing all of the creatures out of their deck. So if you maybe mill over a Craterhoof Behemoth, I think they're on Craterhoof Behemoths. Go down on a Johnny. Let's just try the first Space-Time Anomaly here. Let's not invest into too many. Pyroclasm's probably pretty good on the draw at the very least. Same with the Seam Rips. Go down. We probably can go down Hinterland Sanctifiers if we're bringing in Pyroclasms. Gaining life is not particularly good in this match, although we need to gain life to enable our stuff, you know? Go down a couple Twin Maws and one Bree. Oh, I guess we could cut a land instead. Cut a Multiversal Passage, go back up a Bree. Try it like that. Seam Rip should be enough removal over the Storm Broods. Storm Broods doesn't hit a whole lot outside of their like dorks. Everything else kind of has flying, you know? Everything else that's important. So I think I'd rather just have the Seam Rips. Maybe we want a couple Sanctifiers. Or a Johnny's. A Johnny's can kill like tapped Angs. Maybe we just want Space-Time Anomaly. I'm gonna try 3 here. Let's just cut the Storm Broods completely and try the Space-Time Anomalies. We brought in the Seam Rip, so we have enough removal still, I think. Let's try it like that. Okay, on the draw, not the best hand in the world, but we do have our 1 of High Noon with a Seam Rip to answer early dorks. We have a Space-Time Anomaly and a way to cast it now. It's interesting. I don't know. We'll see if it pays off. We definitely need to see like a case of Uneaten Feast or Adventures in to enable this Bree. Maybe I'm not allowed to cut down on the Hinterland Sanctifiers for that reason. Like, just to have maximum ways to enable the Bree when she enters and the Exemplar of Light when she enters. It's definitely High Noon eventually, but maybe I have to take this turn to get Lost the Cub. Because if they have another Cub, it's pretty bad. I guess I just go High Noon now. Hope I draw a Pyroclasm next turn. Not actively having any ways to gain life really hinders our Breeze and our Exemplars of Light, right? But we do have a lot of ways to gain life outside of the Hinterland Sanctifiers. Could just draw like a Lightning Helix. Blood Farm Verge. Play a tapped Multiversal Passage. We can afford to put this on white now. I might as well, if this is their mana base, like they're stuck on lands, I might as well just get lost the Cub. Or if I get lost the Seam Rip, I get to Seam Rip their Cub. That's probably worse. Just get lost the Cub. Keep them off of mana a little bit here. We are dying to just combat damage right now. Shocked ourselves quite a bit, and this Space-Time Anomaly looks pretty butts. Well, there's a case of the Uneaten Feast. Let's play that first, and then we can do the Bree of Clan Stoutarm next turn. Our High Noon shuts down the ability for us to like cast off of Bree of Clan Stoutarm with her second ability here, but we still get to just draw the cards, right? Llanowar Elves. There's their 1 card this turn. They could have an Aang in hand, which would be pretty good against us. Another case. Yeah, let's play the Bree here. Ooh. Hopefully they don't have an Aang. Kind of feels like they do. They do. Okay. High Noon. High Noon may be looking a little rough here. Maybe, not bringing it in is worthwhile just to keep ourselves from sort of like getting stuck in the Aang lock. The Aang and lock. Is that anything? I don't know. I mean, they could win from this position if they have like a Seam Rip on the High Noon and then the rest of their combo. Well, there's Seam Rip on the High Noon. Seam Rip on the case of the Uneaten Feast. They like that I'm currently High Nooned. And I don't have any board wipes in this list outside of the Pyroclasms. They jam Aang and Law. Looks pretty good. I can spend 5 mana to just kill Aang and Law here, but it won't be enough. Okay. Concede this one. Move into the next one. Let's cut the Space-Time Anomaly idea. I think just having more interaction is probably more important. And I actually decided I don't like High Nooning myself here. It's maybe decent into like lessons still, but I kind of need to be able to cast multiple things. And especially with like Aang on the ladder, it can be a little dangerous. I mean, obviously it shuts down their combo, but let's just go down to the 1 Space-Time Anomaly as a get out of jail Hail Mary sort of play. We got to bring in the Sanctifiers again. I guess you're maybe just not allowed to cut these ever. too important to enable the rest of the deck, I think. And maybe being on the play, Pyroclasm's not as important. Okay, go down the Space-Time Anomaly. Try it like that. All right, pretty good opener hand for us here. Lead on a Sanctifier. And then next turn we get to play a Channeler and start gaining quite a lot of life off of our lands here. Would love to draw like a Bree or maybe some interaction. Sacred Foundry, let's save that shock effect for giving flying to our Essence Channeler in a key moment, I think. Something to think about. I mean, obviously we'll play it if it means turning on red for like a Lightning Helix or something. Dock Orlock, Llanowar Elves, Voice of Victory. I kind of think I just have to kill Dock Orlock, right? Maybe it's enough to just play the Voice of Victory. Gives me a bigger swing with the Essence Channeler here. I guess if they go like land, Badgermole Cub, or like Reality Fulcrum, I think I'd rather just get on the board a little more aggressively here. Swinging for 5. It's a race, and we have this shock for flying from downtown. Turning off their instant speed interaction. There's the Reality Fulcrum. Let's see what they hit here. 2 lands. I would guess that's pretty good for us. They can't really do anything busted with that. Pass it back. Case of the Uneaten Feast means pretty huge life gain for our Essence Channeler here. Are they just dead? Gain a life off this Adventurer's Inn. Get lost the Dock Orlock and then gain 1,000,000 life here. Swing in with a lethal Essence Channeler. Okay. 2-0. I mean, kind of winning out of nowhere here. That's why I think the Voice of Victory is just so important for this list in general. Much better a card than a Johnny's Pridemate. Even though like a Johnny's Pridemate has direct life gain synergies, Voice of Victory is just so much better at enabling the cards that care about gaining life. So 2-0. Moving to the next one. Looked pretty good there. Just a nice, clean, aggressive game. Match number 3 on the play. We can do better than that. Okay, this is pretty good. I think we maybe skip on... We could just skip on an Exemplar of Light here. Just go like Channeler, Lightning Helix your face. Get some aggro going on the play. Seems okay to me. Lead on a tapped Sacred Foundry. Tapped Hollowed Fountain. Draw into a Storm Brood. Probably not that good against Hollowed Fountain matchups, generally speaking. Unless this is, once again, like the Bant combo list. Seam Rip. Main deck Seam Rip. I'm going to put them on. Oh, well, okay. So we go... Probably just makes sense to go like Essence Channeler, tapped Multiversal Passage, and then next turn warp the Halia, Lightning Helix their face. Or Lightning Helix a creature. Probably another red source is okay. I don't know why I shocked myself. Small mistake. Shouldn't hurt us too much, probably. Maybe makes them think I have like a Burst Lightning or something. Might as well put on the full control here. Really sell it. I'm going to guess they have an Aang here. Let's go for the Halia. If they airbend this, it's really not a big deal for us. But they definitely could airbend a Lightning Helix. Maybe I just like plan to hold up the Lightning Helix, keep them from being able to do their whole combo next turn. I guess what could happen is like they could make a small mistake here. Let the Halia ability go on the stack and then flash in their Aang to like exile my Essence Channeler and I get to Lightning Helix their Aang. Let's see what they do here. They might just let these resolve. Okay, they let these resolve. They let the Lifegain bit resolve, and then they go for the Aang to airbend the Essence Channeler. Okay, smart. Well, I'll just kill off your Aang here. I don't really want to deal with this in the future. Denies my ability to draw, but that's okay. Smart play. Gotta respect it. Essence Channeler in exile. Halia in exile. I have to imagine this is the Airbend combo list, but maybe it's just like a Bant fair, like, tempo list. Okay, well, there's the Doc Warlock. That is the clear signal. Go for a Twin Maw Stormbrood here. Just get this out of my life. They could have more interaction, but probably not. Go for the Essence Chandler. Bazinga or whatever Chandler says. This Kaito avatar reminds me of what my brother looked like when he was young. So every time I see this Kaito avatar, I'm reminded of my youth. Aang at the crossroads. They whiff. Whoa. Crazy, man. Well, it makes sense to me to go for, like, Bree here, even though we're not going to trigger her immediately. We get it on the field. And then we can maybe, like, draw a land and do both Halia and Lightning Helix next turn. Let's just go for the Bree. It's a little bit of a nothing turn for us, but sets up our future plays pretty nicely. Pretty nice to be able to give lifelink to our big dumb creatures, too, in certain situations. The Airbend there, Aang at the crossroads, makes sense to me. Spin the wheel again. We have good interaction for next turn, though. They hit a Bramble Familiar. Shock themselves. Seam Rip on my Essence Channeler. Not the end of the world. Halia. So we get to warp this Halia. And then, do we Lightning Helix the... I guess we get to swing. See if they decide anything is worth blocking with. They take 4. What's the best target for Lightning Helix in this position? Is it just the Aang at the crossroads, or is it Aang Swift Savior? Because Aang Swift Savior is a combo piece, right? But everything else is a little busted in its own way, too. I'm going to go with the Aang Swift Savior. They get to flip their Aang at the crossroads. I guess I should have done this. No, okay. This is all fine. Play a Case of the Uneaten Feast off of Bree. Pretty interesting. Draw into an Adventurer's Inn. Not the worst draw. They flip their Aang. They get to Earthbend. They can't really race me in, like, a fair matchup, realistically. I think I'm just gaining too much life and have too much removal. And especially if they don't have a way to deal with my card advantage engines. Seems unlikely that, like, just playing the fair game is going to result in them winning. Unless they manage to get one of their engines going with, like, Appa and doing the Bramble Familiar thing. Yeah, I mean, they're going to start kind of going here. I would imagine it's Fetch Quest. They hit a Doc Orlock, so then they get to follow that up with a free Aang at the crossroads. They could just hit the combo here. They whiff again. Go for the Adventurer's Inn. Go for the Halia. I don't have any way to swing in here, but gaining some life. Trigger the Bree and Halia to draw some cards. Hopefully we draw into some instant speed interaction or just, like, something relevant here, I suppose. There's a Get Lost. Hold on. Set a stop. Full control. Cast this Essence Channeler. Guess I just have to kill the Doc Orlok here, right? I don't think I'm the best at making decisions as to what to interact with in this matchup. But I think Doc Orlok is like the key piece to enable their super busted stuff, right? Appa is obviously pretty annoying too, but they can do the combo with multiple pieces like outside of Doc Orlok. They need the Doc Orlok to really do the busted stuff, right? Let's just go for this. I could be wrong. They do get to transform their Aang, which is a little annoying. Gain a little more life. Don't get to solve the case here because it's an end step trigger, I think, but it's okay. We can start kind of throwing our creatures at them next turn, which is pretty fun. I haven't activated this ability yet in my testing, but it looks like it's going to come up here. Reality Fulcrum into another Appa, land. Okay. Not super duper the end of the world here. They get to hold up Appa for my turn. Tap starting tone. What do they get to do with Appa here, though? You know what I mean? They get to, like, flicker their Fulcrum and their Aang, but they do have to Legend Rule their Appa in the process, which is maybe not, like, super ideal for them. Let's just do the Flying Lifelink thing with the Essence Channeler here. I guess I can play this other Halia first, although if I draw another... This makes the attack a lot bigger, but if I draw like another Get Lost, I would want to be able to cast it. I think I'm just going to cast this. Make this Essence Channeler swing a little more impactful. Keep this one. Gain a lot of life. Gonna be able to solve this case as well, which is not super relevant quite yet, but eventually could be. Plays the Appa, makes another token. Airbends their stiff, chumps, so they currently are Appa-less, unless they have an extra one in hand that I don't know about. They decide to chump because I have Lightning Helixes in my deck, probably. Solve the case, draw a card, play another Essence Channeler for free off of Bree. Trigger my shit again. Keep going crazy. I like this list. I think it's pretty fun. I think it can be a little bit of a pain to sit through all the triggers. I don't know if I would ever play it in paper for that reason, but if it was strong enough, maybe. I think Bree is a pretty cool card. And I like the art a lot. Just a giant with a bunch of little sheep in her basket. How cute is that? Oh. Doc Orlok. With the Aang. But do they have the third piece here? Aang at the crossroads. Resolve this. They have to hit... Okay, they hit their Appa. So they have infinite stuff. But did I leave in the Hail Mary Milieu card? I kind of thought I left in one, but maybe I didn't. Oh, no. This is game one, so I can't beat this. Can't beat this outside of, like, double removal here, maybe. Trigger a bunch of stuff. Because they they airbend their seam rips. Okay, I'm going to scoop. I can't beat this. Not in the main. They just get to make infinite guys and then do the thing. I won't make them do that. Let's move it along. Go to sideboard. Bring in, once again, the one of Space-Time Anomaly from downtown, just in case, I think. Makes a bit of sense to me. Couple seam rips. Let's do 2 Space-Time Anomaly. It looked like it would have been a little better in that situation compared to the previous match against this list, but I think we can go down a couple Storm Broods. Go down 1 Bree. 1 Essence Channeler? Try it like that? On the play. Okay. Well, I mean, if there was a hand where Space-Time Anomaly looked good, it would be this hand, because we get to get our early source of life gain online with a Voice of Victory, meaning we're going to be gaining quite a lot of life, right? And also, with the Voice of Victory on the field, they're not going to be able to interact with this Space-Time Anomaly on the stack with their Angs. Could be the play. I think I'm just going to rip it as soon as I can. I don't even have to like fully mill them, but them being a combo deck means they are reliant on a bit of card selection, right? And at the very least, it means like they could win with a big board still, probably, but not just win on the spot. Halia's a pretty good draw, too. I think I'm going to go... I'm just going to get the Halia on the field forever here. I could play another Voice of Victory, but I think, like, just having this on the field is pretty nice for future turns. Gaining 1,000,000 life now actually might just mill them out. Maybe it's better there to just play another Voice of Victory to, like... I don't know. I'm not sure. What would you do there? Would you go for the Voice of Victory into Warp Halia? That might just be better. And then set up into a turn 5, like, lethal Space-Time Anomaly, almost guaranteed with how much life you're gaining. But there is also the element here of just, like, we are kind of winning on board by a lot. I can't Charring Bite to clear blockers, but they kind of do have to put blockers on the field or have a seam rip for this Voice of Victory. Still think I might just mill them, though. Avatar's Wrath. Okay. A little bit annoying. Sunbillow Verge. Just going to go for Voice of Victory here. I think I can maybe just gain lethal life to set up this Space-Time Anomaly here. Airbending the Bramble Familiar is pretty nice for them, though. Shimmerwild's Growth, really? Interesting. I guess it's decent if you're expecting people to have answers for your Badgermole Cubs. A little weird. Bree of Clan Stoutarm. Let's go Hinterland Sanctifier into Halia to draw some cards here. Oh no, not drawing cards. That's okay. Sets up the rest of our stuff going on. It maybe would have been better to just play a double Voice of Victory there. Yeah, small mistake. I kind of thought I was going to gain enough life to draw a card, but thinking Hinterland Sanctifier would gain life upon ETB. Not the case. There's a Badgermole Cub. So they are on the Cub. Small mistake for us. Doc Orlock, they get to cast this fetch quest for free. They hit an Ang. But this isn't the combo quite yet. They can airbend their Badgermole Cub for access to future mana. They could just airbend my Halia. They only have 41 cards left in their deck. I can mill them for quite a bit. I mean, there is just like a chance I mill all of their Appas, right? Which keeps them from comboing. They get to flicker their Ang. They get to airbend their Bramble Familiar. Shock. I could go Space-Time Anomaly, mill them. shock myself. Charring Bite the Twin Maw Storm Brood. And then, like, the odds of them winning a fair game over the course of all of this is not that high. And, like, them milling 7 cards off of their fetch quest is, like, a pretty real thing, you know? One Dock Orlock. 2 Dock Orlock. So 1 left in the deck, probably. 1 Appa. 2 Appa. 3 Appa. Probably 1 left in the deck still. Kill off the Dock Orlock. Keep them from being able to do the combo, at the very least. No attacks. And now they really can't cast this fetch quest. On account of the mill 7. It's interesting, right? It's kind of an interesting board we found ourselves in. Even if they, like, I think their best chance at winning now is flip the Aang and just start trying to set up a big fair board, but we are going to gain a lot of life and draw a good chunk of cards in the future here. Next turn we get to go Halia into the Bree. Do they have any Aangs left? 1, 2, 3. No Aangs left, so we don't have to play around that. There's a Dock Orlock, so they have to kind of have exactly like Appa right now. Aang at the Crossroads. I mean, they do have an Appa left. They've certainly figured that out, surely. But I also have another. Oh, they whiffed. They're milling. They're setting up the Appa. Okay. So this is infinite creatures. But yeah, I think this is just it. Wow. A little unlucky, maybe. It would have been nice to just mill 3 of either of these guys, right? They swing in. Sorry, mill all 4 of Docks or Appas, but the fact that they had a Dock and an Appa left, pretty lucky for them in their top 10. It was close, though. They're doing the combo. I don't think there's a way we can win, because they get to Airbend Aang. I guess the way I win is, like, I go for a Voice of Victory, and I draw my second Space-Time Anomaly. So I'm going to skip forward in the video here, see what we draw, and then plan to scoop it up. Okay, we drew a Lightning Helix. But they didn't make a lethal board, really, interestingly enough. We go for the Voice of Victory. They play their Aang. They've turned off their ability to combo here. They're just going to combo a little bit more. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I get to Lightning Helix their Dock Orlock then, right? Is what I've kind of concluded. I let them do the loop once before realizing this, so they got an extra ally. And maybe it's better to Lightning Helix the Aang there, though, because they get to transform Aang. Yeah, maybe I should have Lightning Helix Aang. Yeah, I should have Lightning Helix the Aang, because then it keeps them off of a lethal board next turn. Whereas this is most likely a lethal board. Play our Halia, gain a little extra life. Maybe it's not. I'm at 29. 1 card left in the deck. I should have Lightning Helix the Aang. We know this to be true. Airbender Ascension. On my Halia. Yeah. Weird ending there. They made a mistake by not doing that, like a full committed board on their turn. I made a mistake by Lightning Helixing the wrong target. I was just a little like stun locked by the fact that they like made 5 allies and passed. So I was like, oh, okay. That's all right. Close one. 2-1. Let's head into match number 4 here. All right, match 4 on the draw. Pretty good hand here. A lot of removal. Intimidation tactics. Probably doesn't super matter what they decide to take. I guess if I were them, I would go with the Exemplar of Light. I think it's probably just a little stronger than Bree. But Bree's pretty cool, too. They take the Bree. Sunbillow Verge. Pass it back to you. Case of the Stashed Skeleton. Well, I have a feeling our Lightning Helixes are going to play pretty nicely here. Pass it back to you. I think I'm just going to take 2. Although, do I really care about them taking the time to, like, solve this? Probably not. Just keep them off of their aggression here. If you want to spend 2 mana to Demonic Tutor next turn, that's just fine. Another Exemplar of Light's kind of nice. They might just fetch for a swamp here. Kind of seems like that's the case. Or maybe they're doing like the black-white thing with the United Battlefronts. Maybe they grab the planes. They don't have to show me. I'm assuming that's what they grabbed, though. Flood Farm Verge. Get an Exemplar on the field. Would be nice to have like a Sanctifier or a Case of Uneaten Feast, but we'll take it. Strategic Betrayal. Tactics to grab the second one. Pretty nice. There's my Sanctifier. Probably makes sense to just get it on the field, although let's say they have another Strategic Betrayal. It opens up that as an option, right? To deal with the Sanctifier. Corpses of the Lost. Well, I guess I just Helix this. Whereas if I hold the Sanctifier, they're probably not going to rip in Intimidation Tactics at this point, you know what I mean? But they might just kill my Sanctifier, which is going to kind of be a key component for triggering like a Halia in the future, perhaps. Forsaken Miner. Hasty Skeleton. Well, I guess this one gets to just attack me. Because if they descend, they get their corpses back in hand anyway. Unholy Annex. Interesting. Could use one of our engines off the top here. Alia, Exemplar, Bree. Any of those would be pretty good. Pretty good. Go with the Sanctifier first. Helps us play around Strategic Betrayal as well. Take a redraw here. I think I might just end up holding this Adventurers in to guarantee trigger the Exemplar next turn. Pass it back to you. If I get to untap with this Exemplar, I think they're going to have a hard time here. Requiting Hex into Strategic Betrayal. Okay. Well, at least they don't have a demon on the field. Stalactite Dagger. I spoke too soon. It is a demon and a skeleton. Pretty sweet list here. Essence Chandler. Play the Chandler. Play an Adventurers in. Play a Voice of Victory. Helix the Shapeshifter, I guess? Not that good. They can spend 2 mana to... Yeah, I don't know if I'm beating this. I kind of need to draw a Get Lost for an Unholy Annex, maybe. Them being able to, like, pick apart the, like, my card advantage engines kind of at the perfect windows lined up very, very nicely for them. They were able to fight through 3 Exemplars of Light and a Bree just with, like, nicely timed removal and intimidation tactics. Not ideal. Still, we could draw, like, a Halia off the top. Might get us back into this. I'm imagining they're making a demon here. They make a demon. Sacred Foundry. Yeah, let's just go ahead and scoop this one up. Kind of a pretty good sequence of turns for our opponent there, I think. Decent Seam Rip matchup, I think. Keeps them from, like, descending. We can hit the demons with the Seam Rip at the very least. Soul Guide Lantern probably not worth bringing in, but I think a Johnny could be good, just as a army in a can sort of style effect that they might have a hard time interacting with. Makes their strategic betrayals a lot worse. Probably worth going down on the Storm Broods. Not the best piece of interaction that we could be casting against them, I think. Try it like that. Pyroclasm could be good if they have a really aggressive start, but this is to me clearly just much more of a mid-range game plan that they're trying to go for. And I could imagine scenarios where Pyroclasm just kind of gets stuck in the hand. It's close. If we had a second land, I would definitely keep this. It's kind of close though. Turn 1 case. Turn 2 seam rip something. If I don't hit a land. And if I do hit a land, I'm kind of off to the races. I'm gonna keep it. I don't know. It's pretty close. It's risky for sure. I could get punished, but against their hand rip, keeping more cards tends to be a little more effective. Pass it here. Case of the Stashed Skeleton. No land. We knew what we signed up for. Take you off a Skelly. Slasher. Ayy. Well, there's a land. So we're kind of in this. Play a voice. We can fight through a Slasher with our life gain pretty easily, I think. As long as they don't have the 4-mana demon here. Unholy Annex, fine. Swing in with the Slasher, no blocks. We're kind of in this, especially if we draw a red source here. I think we're like pretty firm. Okay, well, Hinterland Sanctifier is not bad, actually. We get to go Sanctifier, warp the Halia, get 1,000,000 life with the swing. Obviously, Slasher is pretty good into life gain decks, but at the same time, life gain's not that bad into Slasher decks, you know what I mean? Like, they kind of have to win on a burn angle, generally. And if I do manage to deal with the Slasher, like, the Unholy Annex burn angle becomes a lot worse. There's a Helix. Still would like to draw a third land, obviously. But I could see this going either way. I mean, I would guess it's more likely in their favor, just being able to develop more freely with their mana, but another Annex. Demon on the field. No answers to the demon currently. Swinging in. Back to 8. Drain, drain. Back to me. Get lost. Well, that's an answer to the demon, but maybe it makes sense for long term to just like play another voice. Have another source of like huge chunks of life gain. But if I do that, do I have to play or like chump with the Sanctifier here? So if I swing or play the voice and swing, I'm gaining 6 life, go to 10. Then they swing back. I go to 5 if I don't block, and then they drain for 4, which is not lethal. I think I can imagine that being kind of correct long term. I guess the scenario that they'd kill me is like they have removal for this Hinterland Sanctifier. I guess they would have to have removal for Hinterland Sanctifier and Voice of Victory to be able to swing through with this Shapeshifter. Pass it back to ya. Realm of Ko. Corpses of the Lost. Yeah. It's good. It's good. Another Skelly. Skelly Demon. Cool list. Shout out to Otter Jones. I feel like he would appreciate this one. Requiting Hex. It's a cool list, gang. I can't be too mad here. They figured out something kind of sweet. The Skelly Demon crossover. Hasty Changelings. This is currently 10, so I do have to block, so I might as well block the Slasher. Well, I might as well block the... Oh, I'm just dead. Yeah, I'm just dead. I'm just dead. I'm going to die to these Unholy Annex triggers. GG. Nice. Cool list. All right, head into the final match. Hopefully we can pull out this 3-2 here. RIP me. Shout out to Burktastic. They got a spicy one. Awesome. Awesome. All right, final match on the draw. Pretty good hand. We have a lot of life gain here. We have a lot of life gain here. Into presumably mono red. Might as well just shock myself. It's something I'm going to do eventually. Interland Sanctifier. I have a lot of non-basics, though, so I don't just win this matchup. Sunspine Lynx is going to be very good against me. But we should be favored, I would guess. We should be pretty well favored. 4 main deck Lightning Helixes. A lot of big, chunky life gain pieces. Just go for our Voice of Victory here, I think. Set up into Sanctifier Helix next turn. Get lost on the Voice. Okay. Swanging in. I kind of feel like I should respect the Hired Claw, but at the same time, I think I want to make use of the maps while I have them. Go for a map here. See what's on top. Essence Channeler. We'll keep that. So let's just play a tapped Sacred Foundry at this window. Pass it back to you. Two white sources. Probably a little awkward for this list, if I had to guess. Unless this is like a attack triggers sort of Boros aggro list and not your standard mono red. Okay. I would guess this is, yeah, more so in that sort of realm. Swinging in for 2. Did they do their math wrong? I'm going to block. Kill their lizard. Pretty good for us. I think I'm going to play the Chandler. Might as well just go for a map on the Sanctifier again here. We'll take a Bree of Clan Stoutarm. Seems like a great draw. Tapped Abandoned Air Temple to keep our options open for next turn. But most likely just going to play the Bree. Seam Rip probably on the Hinterland Sanctifier at this point. Okay. Well, we get to swing in for 3. We can play around them shocking the Essence Channeler in combat with a Lightning Helix, although it takes away our opportunity to play the Bree / enable the Bree also. But I think it's fine. Play a Bree. Tapped Passage. Frontline Rush. Make some goblins. Let's go on white. We don't really need more red mana. We have the opportunity to start swinging in with a big life-linking Essence Channeler next turn, too. Swinging in. I don't think I'm going to block this. They have tricks. They have burn, probably. They level up the Defaced Gallery. Open up the Painter's Studio. Okay. Shocks themselves. Down to 12. Pretty low. There's their Burst Lightning. We get to move a counter onto Bree here. Not irrelevant. Play an Essence Channeler. Lightning Helix their face. Hit them down to 4. Pretty unlikely that they have a lethal attack next turn. We get to cast a free Voice of Victory, pretty good. And then start to send in some flying lifelinkers. Or just swing, like Alpha Strike with Abandoned Air Temple. I really like this card, man. I don't know. I just think it's a very fun card. It's the kind of card that I feel like deserves to be like a strong standard card in a way, you know? Not that, obviously, like, not that Lifegain strategies have been historically particularly strong in constructed formats. Maybe long time ago, Soul Sisters in Modern, Once Upon a Time. But I think having extra payoff for like the card advantage side of things in Bree being on like 10 sources of like life gain engine payoff, and Essence Channeler is like a pretty efficient card. Like it gets big pretty quickly, and being able to fly and being able to like move its counters, it's very flexible. Dies to Seam Rip, dies to Requiting Hex, but I think the overall card quality is pretty high in this list too. I don't know that I've been that impressed with the Twin Maw Stormbrood idea, but outside of that, all of our hands have looked kind of gas, I think, and we've put up even in the matches we lost outside of like the one land keep, we've put up a good fight in kind of every game, every match here. What am I playing against? Red, white, go wide. Okay. Seam Rips. Pyroclasms. Let's go down. Get Lost hits the War Leader's Call. Twin Maw Stormbrood is probably generally decent. At the very least, it kills the Voice of Victory, but I think we can afford to cut them all and probably go down a land as well for that reason. Try it like that. All right, game 2. On the draw. Pretty good hand. Both of our 1-drop options here with a Chandler. Turn 1 advantage, pass. Probably holding up a shock, so I'm just going to lead on the case of the Uneaten Feast in that case. Wouldn't mind drawing a third land here to be able to, like, hold off on playing this Adventurers in. Mountain. Third land. Just going to go for the Voice of Victory here. Plays around shock once again, and then sets us up really nicely into, like, Sanctifier, Essence Channeler swing. Huge-ass Essence Channeler. There's a War Leader's Call. We don't care about that much, though. Swinging in for 2. Opens up a crackback attack. I kind of think they're about to get whomped here. Unfortunately, I think we have to play our Adventurers in before Essence Channeler. Let's go. I guess let's just play a second case, since we'll be able to turn them on this turn. Into the Channeler. Into Big Swing. Gain 1,000,000 life. Gonna be kind of hard for them to recover from this. They need like 3 Seam Rips in a row here to really shut us down, I think. 2 would be pretty good too. Seam Rip the Essence Chandler, Seam Rip the Voice, set me back quite a bit. 8/7 Chandler. Pass it back to ya. We're kind of the antithesis of Boros go wide, ping you with War Leader's Calls. Song of Totentons. Fine. Okay. Ping me. Essence Chandler has Flying and Vigilance. Ping me, swing me? Are you crazy, dog? Give up the Hired Claw. You got a board of dumb little rats, and you're like super dead to this Essence Chandler now? Alright, well, GG. Fun run. 3-2 overall. Appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. I had fun with it. Definitely the kind of deck that I like playing on ladder, just because I don't know. It is mostly fair, and I like I tend to like more fair strategies, right? But it's got that like kind of angle of attack that we almost pulled off in our Bant Airbending matchup. Never ran into the mono green landfall list in this series of matches, but yeah, I would like to test it in that matchup. I don't think I've run into it with this list yet, even though I've played several matches outside of this video with it. Curious to see how that would go. But otherwise, the core seemed pretty good. I mean, Bree played pretty well. Not better than Exemplar of Light, probably, but the option to like actually access big flying lifelink for our big dumb creatures in certain matchups could be relevant. And the difference between being able to like just draw, not only does Bree like draw a card, it specifically draws a non-land card, which is better than just drawing a card, right? And it also gives you an opportunity to maybe cast something off of her effect for free, which is not irrelevant, right? Fun run. Let me know what you think. Appreciate you watching. If you're not subscribed already, hop on the train. I'll be posting more daily standard content. A little different stuff here and there. I posted, uploaded, as of recording now, I uploaded the recent Powered Cube, MTGA Powered Cube video I did, and it's not performing well. So if you like standard content, expect more of that and less of like draft content, because people don't seem to necessarily care as much about that. So good to know at the very least. It means I will be trending toward what the people want for the most part, and maybe occasionally posting a draft still because I like it, and but yeah, appreciate you watching. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm excited for the next list. I'm going to be running a mono white Morning Tides Light aggro list. So if you're curious to know what that looks like, why don't you watch the next video, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.